Good morning, everyone. It is March the 21st, and it is Thursday, and we are almost done with the week. But chink. That is not even the first news story that I wanted. I was just making sure that it was as loosely affiliated with the certain people that Eris did not want to see that maybe it will be okay. Thank you, Captain Kern, for becoming a new member. Eris, thank you for doing the mod stuff. Christine, good morning to you. Casey, good morning. And thank you for gifting one membership. That went to, and I have it written down, but let me make sure I say that right. Edie Marie, Miss Treminer. Hopefully I said that correctly. And good morning, Squabob. I tried to put you in as a mod. Perhaps I am not putting you in right. So I will try again today or next week. I am putting a lot of projects on next week, to be real with you. uh, and thank you, Casey. And then good morning, Pernilla and Greedy Bloke. And let's see here. Trying to read words. Jess Rubery and Twisted Logic and Tom H and Aussie Tank and Hospice Jess and Slinky. Our first story is apparently no one wants to be in Idaho, least of all the prisoners. Good morning, Will Call Magic and Wolfram. Idaho inmate escapes after planned breakout from hospital. Two officers were shot in brazen ambush. Boise Police Officer Chief Weingar, described the shooting as, quote, violent and apparently coordinated attack to facilitate the inmate's escape. Good morning, Leslie McGinnis and Terry D. and Derek Rosenborough. Police are searching for an escaped inmate and another person after corrections officers in Boise, Idaho were shot early Wednesday in what officials are describing as a planned escape. The incident began at 2:15 a.m. local time when state corrections department officers were attempting to transfer inmate Skylar Mead, dude or gal? I'm guessing dude, back to the corrections facility, according to the Boise police. Mead had been taken to St. Alphonsus Regional Medical Center for treatment. As the officers were prepared to take Mead back, a suspect later identified as Nicholas Euphenmore fired at them, police said. The two of the officers were shot, one with non-life-threatening injuries, while the other was stable in critical condition. Mead and the other person fled and were last seen in a gray four-door sedan, possibly a Honda Civic. If you are going to run from the law, do not run from the law in a daggone Honda Civic. That is like a Dodge Neon. Well, that's what I was thinking. It's Skylar spelled the girl way because usually Skylar with an ER is the boy way. Good morning, Jude. I just saw you. Good morning, JKD Buck. And Casey gifted another membership. I am done with one board and I am working on the other one. I actually need to get more glue. And that went to, if I kept current on the other thing, I would really be on top of stuff. Whiskey 77. Mead was described as a 31-year-old white male, 5 feet 6 inches tall, with 2 face tattoos, the number 1 on one side and 11 on the other. Oh, yikes. That is, yeah, he does look like one to be driving a Honda Civic with expansion kits and LED lights. Boise officers responded to reports of an active shooter At the hospital, which was placed on a modified lockdown, the department said one of the officers fired at an armed person at the hospital entrance, who was later identified as a corrections department officer. So he friendly fired on the corrections officer sustained non life threatening injuries from the police. Wonderful. Just wonderful. Good morning, Jackie uh, Kemmerer. Boise Police Chief Ron Weingart described the incident as brazen, violent, and an apparently coordinated attack to facilitate Meade's escape. Yeah, probably, but again, Honda Civic. We caution anyone who may have contact with the suspects involved in this violent attack and uh, escape to call 911 immediately and not to confront them personally. Also, he cautioned all convenience stores carrying Mountain Dew and loose rolling papers to be on the lookout. You know what I'm talking about. They are armed, dangerous, and shown they are willing to use extreme violence in furtherance of their criminal activity. The FBI is also assisting Boise and state police, a spokesperson said. I don't know if that's a help or a hindrance here lately. Weingart told reporters Wednesday that Meade is a known gang member. Umfenor is an associate of Meade, Boise police said. It is unknown exactly where they are or where they're headed, the police said in a statement Wednesday evening. Meade was sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2017 for firing several shots at law enforcement officers during a high speed chase while fleeing a traffic stop, according to NBC affiliate KTVB of Boise. He pled guilty to aggravated assault, method acting, um, power crystal possession, unlawful possession of a force multiplier by a convicted felon, and possession of a shank in jail. He seems like a great person. Everyone is against him. This is a conspiracy. He was just trying to get to church. Uh, Josh T. Wald, director of the correction departments, said Meade engaged in quote unquote injurious behavior Tuesday night while in a maximum security facility. Medical staff members at the department determined he would need to be treated at a hospital, and he arrived at the hospital just before 10 p.m. local time. Quote, as the chief adequately and appropriately described, this is what we believe to be a planned attack, T. Walt said. But in the event that it was not isolated, we took every precaution we possibly could, and the entire south of Boise complex was placed on a secure status. Jude, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. And those went to G. G. Gongs, Gons, or KK. I am sorry. Look, my doctor done did stuff with my Lyrica. It is messing with me. Marla or Marlana Mars, and I also graduated before No Child Left Behind. I am not responsible for what I can't phonic out. I'm a ridiculous person today, I swear. Will Call Magic, Aussie Tank, and JKD Buck. So let me write those down. So, yes, I've got 2 big giant boards, and then Mr. Mo was saying we could get another giant board and put it back there, and all sorts of things. So I've been just thinking about what to do with my office. I kind of like having a bunch of projects to do right now. and I'm actually finishing them for once, is the thing. Good morning, Vale Hammer. Let's see here. The Corrections Department has also launched an investigation to learn how the incident happened and whether any information about Meade's whereabouts can be discovered. DeWalt is not aware whether St. Alphonsus was regularly used to transfer inmates, but he noted it could vary depending on emergency room capacity by hospital. Meade was an administrative segregation, a form of restricted housing that is the highest custody level at Corrections Department, T. Walt said. That's not a determination based on your criminal history, T. Walt said. It's a classification earned by your behavior in custody. Well, yeah, he seems like he's gonna do awesome. Mead and Umfhenor, look, this man's name has been made to just break me this morning. So, Mead and Dummer are considered armed and dangerous. If anyone sees them, they should not approach, but call 911. Police have obtained a warrant for Dummer 2 on 2 counts of aggravated battery against law enforcement and 1 count of aiding and abetting an escape. So there you go. Now, Eris, I think this will make you feel better. Uh, he's a dingus who helped a dude escape. I don't I'm not gonna worry about saying his name super correct. If he had saved a bunch of puppies from, a fire, I would worry about saying his name's correct. But no. Airport executive shot in a firefight with federal agents at his home in Arkansas. The executive director of Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport in Little Rock, Arkansas, was shot Thursday as federal agents arrived to his home to serve a search warrant, police said. So he wasn't exactly Arkansided, but he kind of was Arkansided. So I don't know if this goes on the Clinton count. I guess this is an iffy. Uh, let's see. Sorry. Uh, Brian Malinowski 53, the airport's executive director, was injured during a firefight after 6 a.m. as Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives agents arrived. He was injured with freedom seed wounds and treated on the seen by paramedics before being transported to a local hospital. Arkansas State Police said in a statement, adding that his condition was unknown as of 12:30 p.m. Tuesday. Good morning, Stacy Schmidt. This dude doesn't look like the kind of guy that, pulls out the Gadsden flag and you know, say, "Come and take it from my cold, dead hands." I mean, he just doesn't look like the kinda guy to go full, you know, "This is my sovereign land," kinda thing, but I approve, sir, I approve allegedly in Minecraft and nah, don't look, sir, I don't know that you've been doing the requisite training to take on any sort of government, let alone the feds. And thank you, Squab Bob, for gifting 1 membership. And that went to Stacy Schmidt. I'm not reading that, but I thought that was pretty funny and accurate. Possibly a white panel van, if you know what I mean. So what did he do to get the ATF, all Twitter pated? One ATF agent received what police called a non-life threatening freedom seed freedom seed wound and was also taken to the hospital, police said. Malinowski's older brother, Matthew Malinowski, 55, of Pennsylvania, was at his bedside Wednesday and said he didn't know whether his brother would survive. Quote, "We don't know if he's going to make it in the next 24 hours," Matthew Malinowski told NBC News by phone in his first public comments. He was perforated in the head. Matthew Malinowski said his brother was on life support and doctors haven't performed surgery because they don't think he's going to make it. He said Brian Malinowski collected firearms and other weapons as well as coins and lived in an upper middle class suburb and earned $253,000 a year. He had so much to lose, his brother said. A public records search for Brian Malinowski showed no arrest or any other run ins with police. Shay DeBrun, a neighbor, told NBC affiliate KARK of Little Rock that she was woken by 5 or 6 loud bangs. "My heart was racing and the dogs were barking," she said. "I'm just really curious as to what's going on just a few houses down." Neighbors also told ARC that on Tuesday evening they saw firearms and ammunition being loaded onto a trailer while firefighters carried a circular saw, crowbars, and other tools into the house. Hmm. Hmm. He has those secret pictures of Bill in that dress they made that picture of, doesn't he? Allegedly in Minecraft YouTube, it is a joke. And Miss Clinton, I love my life. Don't you do it. I think you look very good in Kim Jong Un's new outfits. You should make a brand. There probably is a safe, but the stories I come up with in my hand or in my head, not in my hand. Oh, good lord. It's 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 been a long week, y'all. King Pokey Master of Railroads WCM. Good morning. I have not seen you here. Oh, thank you. I love look, y'all, gonna have to show you my not so pretty live reporting. Nope, don't not that close. Stop. I'm not ready for my close up, Mr. DeVille. But it says love is dead and it has a skeleton. And it was $9 because it was for Valentine's Day, but I bought it on sale because that's how I roll. Yeah, if anyone ever wanted to kidnap me, just like say, big white van clearance on the other side, like clearance candles, forget about it. I'd be there. Neighbors told KARK on that Tuesday evening sorry. Brian Malinowski said his brother met with Arkansas senators last week in Washington for official airport business. That tells you the circles he's running in, the older brother said. The state police criminal investigation division is investigating the case. As an investigative case file will be presented to the prosecuting attorney, who will determine whether the use of deadly force was consistent with Arkansas law, the police statement said. Shane Carter, Public Affairs Director. Shelby Fogg, thank you for being a member for 1 month of Van Saying Free Yarn. Um, Look, I'm telling you, crafting supplies are redonkulous. Like for cereals. I told my mom once, she tells me this to this day, that when I was younger and we first went to, like, Joann Fabrics, uh, I turned to her because I was looking for something and, like, she would give us a budget because she was a single mom and, we couldn't spend all the money, but, I was like, "Gosh, no wonder artists are starving. Their stuff is so expensive." She has never let me live that one down. And then King Pokemaster of Railroads, WCM, you were given that membership that Casey gifted you? So let me write that down. Fabrics. So the problem is I jump again, I know you're shocked, like a Twitter-pated squirrel between several kind of, crafts. So right now, I am on a cross stitch kinda thing, but once my husband gets my real office done and I have my sewing machine up here, I will go back to the financial black hole that is fabric buying. My husband's like, "We can get rid of some of this fabric right now because 'cause you're not sewing." I'm like, no. How dare you? What are you talking about? Just terrible. How dare you, sir?" Good morning, Erin Olivia. Okay, Shane Carter, public affair director for the, Those Who Shall Not Be Named National Airport, can confirm to KARK that Malinowski is the executive director for the airport, but offered no further comment. Malinowski's profile on the airport's website said he began working there in 2008 and became executive director in 2019. The profile says he has more than 30 years' experience with previous roles in El Paso, Texas, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Today's incident saddens us, and we pray for everyone involved, Little Rock Airport Commission Chairman Bill Walker said in a statement. Walker said Tom Clark, the deputy executive director, would take over as acting executive director, and the airport would remain open. In 2012, the airport was renamed for former, uh, it would depend on what the word "is" means, and his, headband-wearing, wife. So there you go, heiress. I tried to avoid the names as much as possible for you. And what I can only say is the weirdest daggone headline that I saw this morning. This is the next story. Man put into coma with 4% chance of survival thanks to an ingrown groin hair. Now, what in the Walmart rapture? And as you know, I do not read these articles. Uh, I just read the headlines and then I read the articles with you guys. A Texas man miraculously survived a complicated medical ordeal, beating the 4% odds doctors reportedly gave him. The tribulations of Stephen Spinale, a father in his late 30s, uh, were brought on by his attempt to remove ingrown hair from his groinular region. According to the Daily Mail, he ended up in a medically induced coma. Quote, "We never lost faith faith when others did," his sister Michelle said on TikTok this week. She has been chronicling her brother's near-death experience since he landed in the hospital in late 2020. Quote, "All doctors could figure out is he was bleeding internally from somewhere. Little did we know that would be the smallest worry," Michelle wrote on GoFundMe page that has raised more than $8,000 for his care. "He declined fast until he crashed and was put on life support," she added. He'd caught a rare bacteria and it was ravaging through his body and shutting down all his organs. Is severely septic and in shock. Okay. Spinally contracting sepsis when a person's body responds improperly to an infection and organs get severely damaged was only the start of his nightmare. Well, yeah, but septic shock is a thing and people die from it. Get to the part where it was a hair in his groinular region. Daggone it. You got me with the headline. I need to know why it's there. Was only the start of his nightmare, his sister added. While in the hospital, he also developed influenza A, double pneumonia in both lungs, along with acute respiratory distress syndrome. Seems like hospitals are a very, very germy place. Maybe we shouldn't send sick people there. I'm just kidding. He was placed into a medically induced coma for 3 weeks, according to his sister. Michelle captioned a recent video claiming the doctors said Stephen wouldn't come out of this alive, and that she was told he didn't have brain activity. In other clips, she wrote that Stephen's chances of survival were around 4%. He had to undergo open heart surgery, spend 2 weeks in rotating bed to aid his breathing, have fluids constantly drained from his lungs. However, nothing short of a miracle, he survived and is regaining the ability to walk at the and was regaining the ability to walk at the end of 2023. We never lost hope or faith. Okay, so he developed sepsis from trying to pull a hair out of his groinular region. Okay. And then he got pneumonia and influenza and all terrible stuff. His groin. Okay, that makes more sense. Uh, Straight to Snake Island for this one. But how in the heck does this happen? Well, yeah. No, I know they can. Secret life of child offender, gross person, human trash bag, who faked unalivement, revealed after neighbors find his body after 15 years of hiding. An accused child attacker, long believed to have jumped to his death in 2009, has been secretly living under an assumed name until his death last month exposed his secret. Okay, well, now come here. Satan, I'm gonna need you to have my back on this one and take care of business, okay? Christian Robert Basham, 56, staged his high profile unaliving uh, after he was charged with attacking a young boy in Kitsap County, leaving a deletion note on his car at the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington state, WABC TV said. But Basham somehow slipped away and duped law enforcement for 15 years, living in Los Angeles as an unassuming building maintenance worker named Mark Clemens, whose sordid secret only came to light after neighbors found him unalive for real in his apartment. Very shocking. Next door neighbor Tommy uh, Cellular told ABC, "This was our maintenance guy. This was the guy who had keys to our apartments. It's troubling to say the least, as you can imagine." Police in Kitsap County, the Washington community where Basham was charged with the grossness in the first place, said last week a coroner's autopsy had confirmed Clemens' real identity. The accused jerkface. Oh, thank you so much, MLS. I always put away some money for rainy day wigs or days that end with Y wigs, to be honest. Thank you so much. Okay, so excuse me. Th He was charged in the case in 2008, but managed to post a $350,000 bail. On March 2009, a witness reported seeing him jump from the Washington State Bridge. Cops later found his car and the apparent, "Note before I go" nearby. Authorities ruled that he was presumed not alive, although his body was never found, ABC reported. It's not, known how or when he actually slipped away, but it's clear he rebuilt his life under his new alias, remaining under the radar until he died for real. For real, for real. I hope he didn't continue to offend, Racer Girl. That will be something that they should be looking into, just because in my experience with true crime, and I'm just a mom of 6, and I'm not a doctorologist, a detectivologist, or a mentalologist, but these particular offenders do not seem to, uh, stop offending unless made to stop offending, and that's the scary part. He was just like a normal person, said Cellular, who told the outlet that Basham would even babysit his cat sometime. Oh, I thought he was gonna say kid, and I was like, "For the love of all that is holy." Um, a little rough sometimes, but it was just his personality, one-time neighbor added. No clue that he was the person this person he was accused of being. Despite his recently revealed background, tenants said they were planning a ceremony in his honor. Nope, I would not be attending. But I'm the type that, you know, holds a grudge. In exciting news, Nev Campbell will be back for Scream 7 in space, where no one can hear you scream? No, I don't know what the plot is. Let's see. Nev Campbell announced Tuesday she will return for Scream 7, posting a photo of her script on Instagram. Along with the photo, Campbell revealed Scream creator Kevin Williamson will direct the script from Guy Bu- Busick. Quote, I've dreamed for many years how amazing it would be to make one of these movies with Kevin Williamson at the helm. Campbell wrote. This was his baby, and he's brilliant. His brilliant mind dreamt up this world. Campbell played Sidney Prescott in the first 5 horror films. She declined an offer for Scream 6, telling people the offer was below fair market for a franchise star in a sixth installment. Uh, I honestly don't believe that if I were a man and had done 5 installments of a huge blockbuster franchise over 25 years, that the number that I was offered would be the number that I would be offered to a man, she said at the time. For Scream 7, Campbell writes, I've been asked in the most respectful way to bring Sydney back to screen. So there you go. Christopher Landon, who was originally hired to direct the 7th Scream during development, uh, Scream 2022 and Scream 6 star Marissa Barriera was fired from Spyglass Entertainment for comments about the Mesopotamia. Yeah, wait, was the Scream 6 one the one with Coolio in it? Because I don't think anyone watched that one. I mean, I did, but I think I'm one of 5 people that rented it from Blockbuster because everything else was sold out. Let's see. Star Jenna Ortega quietly left the seventh film, reportedly due to scheduling conflicts. Prior to Barrera, and London announced his departure December 24th. So there you go. If you had you're just like, goodness, I hope that they make another Scream. They are. It'll be about Nev having at least 5 cats and possibly a freelance journalism career for Reddit. She'll be strong and empowered and something, I don't know. Sounds like it's gonna be terror bad, but that's just me. In law and crime news, court reinstates first-degree murder conviction for a woman who unalived former neighbor and ripped baby from her belly. Because why? Dear God, ma'am. Directly into the center of the sun, and what is up with you chicks from prison where this little Lori Vallow mini ponytail does not, like, make you look more innocent. It doesn't make you look kid-like. No, it makes you look like a damn sociopath because you are wearing a daggone tiny little ponytail after you're done ripped a baby out of another human being like a flippin' chest burster. You insano. Allegedly in Minecraft. Rant over. Massachusetts' highest court reinstated the first-degree murder conviction of a woman who in 1999 killed her former neighbor and cut her open to steal her baby. A jury in 2014 convicted Julie Corey of first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping of 23-year-old Darlene Hayes. But 5 years later, her felony murder conviction was tossed, with the judge saying there wasn't enough evidence to prove she committed aggravated kidnapping during the unaliving. What? The judge, yet she done took the baby. Did kidnapping is taking the kid away from parent. She literally done cutted him out and tooketh him. For I hope he was freaking I hope he was freaking voted out. You are the dumbest human being in the look, you make Daryl Brooks look smart, you moron. Corey also appealed for a new trial on the grounds that she had ineffective counsel, but that was denied. On Monday, the Supreme Judicial Court reversed the lower court's decision and reinstated the first-degree murder conviction. Haynes' landlord entered the Worcester apartment on July 27th, 2009, over concerns about her pets. The landlord was met with a very foul smell when he entered the apartment. He walked into the bedroom closet and pulled on a blanket when a leg fell out. Haynes, who was 8 months pregnant at the time of her death, had an electrical cord around her neck and a 9-inch incision on her abdomen. The baby was gone. An autopsy revealed she died of blunt force trauma and strangulation. The investigation led to Corey, who was pregnant but had recently had a miscarriage, although she told her boyfriend and others the baby was still on the way. Corey and Haynes had briefly been neighbors the year before. Prosecutors presented Corey as a deranged woman desperate to have a baby because her boyfriend would break up with her and she would lose her benefits if she didn't become a new mother. They said Corey concocted a scheme to offer Haynes help, but instead unalive her and take her baby girl, who survived the ordeal. Thank goodness this tiny baby survived. Holy, and a judge was like, "I don't know if that was kidnapping, though. I mean, they didn't make it clear enough for me. Do you need crowns?" Corey pretended as if she had given birth to the girl by showing her to the boyfriend and taking her to doctor's appointments. Investigators found a falsified birth certificate in her boyfriend's car. Okay, boyfriend, come here, come here, come here. Sweetie, come here. Now, as a woman who has had 6 children, did she tell you she gave birth on the side of the road? Crayons. Crowns? I say crowns. Yeah, I don't say crayons unless if I'm going fast, I'll say crowns, and if I'm trying to speak clearly, it's crayons because I like to pronounce things clearly, but if I'm getting fired up, it's crowns. It took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about. I was like, "No, I do have crowns, but, crayon?" Oh, yeah. Her defense at trial was that police did not complete a thorough investigation and believed Haynes' boyfriend could be the unaliver because he had been violent with her and another woman in the past. After unaliving the victim, Haynes' boyfriend handed the baby over to Corey, her defense argued. Yeah, the guy that's never sure. Okie dokie. The jury sided with the prosecutors and convicted Corey on first degree murder charges. She was sentenced to life in prison. In throwing out her first degree murder conviction, the lower court judge said prosecution didn't prove that the baby was injured during the kidnapping, which enhances the crime to aggravated. You killed her mother. You sentenced her to a life without her mother. Isn't that hurt? I mean, it's emotional, but for flip's sake, we allow people to have, victim impact statements because the court understands and respects that emotional, you know, impact of a crime matters. So, yeah, you unalived her mom. You took her out a month early. You're a freaking monster. The Commonwealth needed to provide expert testimony to show the jury how the baby would be injured or at risk of not being alive, but did not do so. But the Supreme Judicial Court agreed that this judge was an absolute moron. They agreed with me because I'm a genius. Quote, "The victim, who was the mother of the baby, was unalived, and the baby was removed from the victim's womb, along with all the victim's reproductive organs, by someone without medical training. This was done at the crime scene itself, and obviously not in a sterile environment," the opinion said. The jury were also told that the longer this loss continues, the more harm and danger could be uh, there for the baby. We conclude that the loss of blood and oxygen caused by the unaliving of the mother presents a bodily injury to the baby. The SJC also denied Corey's request for a new trial based on ineffective counsel, which he claimed because her lawyer did not call a cell phone location expert to detail her whereabouts the night of the unaliving. Even if the lawyer had done so, it is likely it would not have swayed the jury toward her innocence, the justice ruled. So, Flux, I think what was happening here, and as not a lawful law person, take this with like 92 pounds of salt. But what they were trying to get to was aggravated kidnapping. So if they just said kidnapping, I think that would have been fairly simple and understandable. But they did aggravated kidnapping. So they needed to show that there was an aggravator of harm or extra heinosity to it. That may or may not be exactly what happened, or, that might not be lawful law. Thank you, Squad Bob, for gifting a membership. and that went to Nancy McCarthy. Just yeah, I have a really hard time understanding how the, lower court judge didn't find, aggravators. It's ridiculous. I cannot. S People are trying to make me and we need a palate cleanser. So, here it is. This is the origin of Deez Nuts, how a man went from Derek to Deez Nuts. March 13th, this is the Deez Nuts origin story. Not the candy bar or the Dr. Dre song, but the Wisconsin man whose legal first name is a favorite euphemism when making testicular couture and other jokes. In April 2011, shortly before his 30th birthday, Derek Lee Kroll, seen above, decided it was time for a change. Not to his life of crime. No. No, that was not his resolution. Uh, it was a name change. So, the Green Bay resident filled out by hand a two-page petition for a name change form and had the document notarized and submitted it along with the $164.50 filing fee to the local circuit court, along with his address and date of birth. Kroll listed himself as disabled and affirmed that he was not an offender of all the offensives. And thank you, not Snivels. And you gifted 5 memberships. Oh, goodness. I'm writing all these down on Post-it notes, and it occurs to me that I should have gotten a notebook. And that went to King Paco, uh, Jariah, Mary Fawcett, Ceres. Feel free to try to phonetically spell your name if I really, really mess it up, which is really possible. And Rachel Moe, which I do know how to say. Uh, as for why he wanted to change his name, Kroll provided a brief explanation. I, without a doubt, so doubt spelled DOUT, all caps, hate my name. Seems like, he's a guy that's going places. In place of Derek, Kroll wanted to allegedly be known as Deez Nuts. Deez Nuts Lee Kroll. I give up. Can I can I be the judge that's in charge of this? Like, I wanna be the name change judge. I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't need to know lawful law. I just wanna know the new names. I just have people in there for hours like, "So what was the logic tree here? I have a whiteboard and I need you to explain it to me." Within 2 months of his court application, Kroll appeared before Judge Timothy Hinkfuss, who granted the petition. In short order, Kroll amended his driver's license to reflect his new name. Kroll kept the Deez Nuts handle until September 2017 when he once again filed a court petition. This time he asked the court to approve a change in his first name from Deez Nuts to Deez Nuts with 2 E's. So, apparently in his first naming of himself, he, only put 1 E, and he wanted to double E. The reason to again change his name, Kroll wrote, "It was not spelled right." This was in reference to his 2011 Deez Nuts application. It is unclear why Kroll let more than 6 years pass before correcting this purported error. Judge Tammy Jo Hawk granted Deez to Deez transformation. The name Deez Nuts has subsequently appeared on Kroll's 2023 divorce filings, as well as the deed to his Walnut Street residence. Now 42, he is also listed as a defendant in a criminal complaint charging him with battery and disorderly conduct with a weapon and a bunch of stuff. So let me get to the when cops arrived at um, Noel's home, he handed over his Wisconsin state ID with the name Deez Nuts Lee Noel. An officer reported that Deez Nuts appeared to be highly intoxicated but followed officer's command. I walked up the top of the stairs and took Deez Nuts into custody. The officer also said read Deez Nuts his Miranda rights. Oh my gosh. I can't even with this. When Noel's daughter called 911, she reported that her father was, quote, intoxicated and naked and holding a force multiplier. She also told police that her dad had hit her. What a D bag. Uh, Noel is free on $2,000 bond and is scheduled for an April 24th status conference in the misdemeanor case. Y'all, just I don't know about I don't know. Just never in my life. What are we gonna do with people? So, what is going to happen today is that I am going to put up a community post. We can either I am in a mood to spew some petty. So, what? It could be worse. You could know someone who legit changed their name to Meow, Ludo, Disca, Gamma, Meow Meow. You know, that would be hard to find on one of those little keychains you get when you go places. They're never gonna have your name on that. I could not keep a straight face. Even if I had to taser him, I'd be like, "These nuts, stop moving. Stop." Look, I couldn't I wouldn't be able to render aid. I'd be laughing so hard on the floor, I'd be incapacitated. But, I'm going to try to get youngest daughter to, get a haircut, but apparently, since it is spring break, it is like the Hunger Games at, great clips. It just is. It is survival of the fittest. But I'm going to put up a community post with a poll so we can either see the sentencing of that trash bag human incubator that went off to Puerto Rico to and left her, toddler alone. Because I have all the words, and then I don't have to go anywhere else after that today, so I can I can have an adult beverage, or we can watch, the hearing about, uh, the confession being, thrown out. So, I will put those 2 options, or if you have a completely other option, then, put your comment, below, and we will go from there. But now I'm gonna try to take youngest daughter to get her hair done. Look, a couple years ago, we had to fight her to even brush the damn stuff, and she's got it down, like, to the small of her back. So, when she said, "Mom, can I get my hair cut?" I was like, "Heck yeah, sweetie." And her bonus mom was like, "Maybe we should talk to her about getting some length taken off." And I was like, "No. I gotta go. Sorry, someone's screaming. I gotta go. Bye, guys." Oh, no. Stay.